All right. Good evening. Let's see. Let me set this here. There we go. Pull back a little bit here. I'd say welcome everyone, but it might just be Kyle's private audience with Chairman for a little while here. But we'll go ahead and get started, and people can jump in as they show up. First time we're looking at doing this, so word might get out as we try to pepper these in throughout the convention planning cycle. Hopefully we'll get some additional engagement on these as we also look at different ways to utilize these to engage with our convention going community and return some of that back with our staff. As always, we welcome additional ideas and things like that. One of the things we had hoped to use it for, excuse me, was obviously some increased opportunity for some additional feedback and idea exchanges, that sort of thing. We always have the open emails and things like that for folks to be able to email us their thoughts, ideas, suggestions. This was a little bit more personal and some sort of a immediate return on that feedback discussion versus just sort of that email exchange. Or sometimes, thank you for your feedback. We'll pass that on to the appropriate department, that sort of thing. So sort of that ability to have a little bit more of a conversation about those ideas and feedback. So as our moderator has said, if anybody has any questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. Feedback on previous year's Detour, questions on things that we handled during sort of the months during the pandemic where we had to cancel 2 of our events. Any thoughts or questions as we're still dealing with the worldwide pandemic, as we prepare for our first planned physical event in 2 years. It's a little less than that, but it will have been 2 years as we canceled 2020 and 2021. Whether you've noticed or not, we put up our banner on Facebook. We were going to do a large announce around the theme, but as we were doing some testing on the Facebook banner to see if the sizing was going to fit right, people immediately noticed that the Anime Detour has changed their photo, and so immediately started liking or commenting. So I guess whatever proverbial cat was in the bag was already out. So officially that's old school 3.0 we can redo. Playing a little off of more than a little off of Evangelion films, that being in and of itself an old school anime. Um, and this being the third time, we're looking to use the uh, old school theme um, for a physical event. Um, we talked about it at our uh, chairman's panel at our Anime Detour virtual event that we had this past spring, and that we'd gotten a lot of feedback, and we'd put together quite a lot of different ways to utilize the old school theme um, for Anime Detour uh, 2020. That the first one that we ended up canceling um, just 3 weeks before the event, um, with a lot of panels that touched on old school. Um, and I'll kind of get back to what we perceived as the definition of that in just a second here. Um, and as well as a number of thoughts on um, having, we had a number of guests that were in a number of different properties together, whether it be Bleach, Digimon, a number of other ones. So lent itself to some pretty exciting panel opportunities to be able to try and get them Naruto, uh, get them in some panels together, and just sort of see how that played out, what our attendees thought of that. Um, so pretty exciting from what we ourselves as fans thought of from a fan's point of view. Some things that we've seen work really well at other conventions. Um, I still like to think of myself as a fan and as a fan of conventions. So when I go to conventions, it's not just from a marketing research point of view. It's those things still excite me to see uh, great panels, great programming, a great dance, those sort of things, and to want to um, bring not only a great experience as a whole, and have Detour continue to be that, but those